The last entry. December 15th, 2044. Day 847 post-wave. My name is Maya Chen, and if you're reading this, it probably means I didn't make it back from tomorrow's run. I'm 15, or at least, I think I am. Time gets weird when you're living underground, watching the world end in slow motion through a periscope. I keep this journal because Mom says it's important to document what we've seen. For posterity, she says, though I'm not sure who's left to read it. The bunker's AI assistant, ARIA, timestamps everything automatically, so at least someone, or something, will know when it all went dark. We've been in Mr. Kellerman's bunker for 2 years, 4 months, and 3 days. He was our neighbor back when neighborhoods existed, back when the biggest worry was whether his hedge trimmed was too loud on Saturday mornings. He was one of those tech billionaires who got rich off the neural integration project. You know, the one that was supposed to revolutionize human consciousness and unlock our true potential. Funny how revolutionizing human consciousness ended up meaning watching people's minds leak out of their ears. Mr. Kellerman always said the government was going too fast with the NIPs, that they hadn't run enough trials. He built this bunker in 2041, 3 years before Wave Day. Called it his insurance policy. The irony is that his insurance policy saved the family of the woman who used to complain about his late-night construction noise. The bunker is beautiful. I'll give him that. It's not some cramped concrete box. It's got 3 levels, hydroponics gardens, a full gymnasium, a library with actual paper books, and enough MREs to last us another decade. The walls are lined with this smart metal that adjusts temperature and humidity. There's even a grand piano, though I haven't touched it since Tommy asked me to play for Elise last month, and I realized my ballet-trained fingers were now more comfortable checking the safety on a plasma rifle. December 16th, 2044. Day 848 post-wave. I had the dream again. The one where I'm on stage at Lincoln Center, wearing the white tutu with the silver trim. The lights are warm, and I can hear the orchestra tuning up, and for just a moment, everything is normal again. Then I look out at the audience, and they're all there. The stretched ones, the whisperers, the things that used to be human. Their faces are wrong, elongated or multiplied or turned inside out, and they're all watching me with too many eyes. I wake up screaming, and Mom comes running. She never says anything, just holds me until the shaking stops. Tommy pretends to sleep through it, but I know he's awake. He's only 8, but he's learned to give me space when the memories get too loud. I should write about yesterday's supply run. That's why I keep this journal, right? To document. To remember. To warn whoever comes after. The Westfield shopping complex used to be our regular hunting ground. 3 stories of abandoned stores, most of the good stuff already scavenged. But sometimes you'd find medical supplies in the pharmacy or canned goods in the restaurant storage areas. The key was getting in and out before the dwellers noticed you. I'd been watching the complex through the scope for 3 days, timing the patrol patterns. The dwellers, that's what I call the things that used to be the maintenance staff. They stick to a schedule. Maybe it's muscle memory, or maybe the neural integration protocol left just enough of their original programming intact. Either way, they sweep the main corridors every 6 hours, and there's a 47-minute window where the east wing is clear. I suited up in the light bend fabric Mr. Kellerman had stocked. Military surplus, probably. It doesn't make you invisible, but it blurs your outline enough to confuse most of the mutations. The fabric feels like wearing liquid mercury, cold and slick against your skin. I've gotten used to it, but Tommy tried it on once and threw up. Kids' nervous systems are still developing. They're more sensitive to the quantum fluctuations. The entrance I use is through the old GameStop. There's a service tunnel that connects to the main ventilation system. Getting through requires crawling about 200 meters through ducts that smell like ozone and burnt copper, the signature scent of neural integration decay. I was looking for insulin. Mom's blood sugar has been spiking, probably stress-related, but we're down to our last 3 injectors. The CVS pharmacy was picked clean months ago, but I remembered seeing a diabetic supply kiosk near the food court. The mall was quiet. Too quiet. Usually, you can hear the dwellers shuffling around, their joints popping and crackling as the metal implants corrode. But yesterday, nothing. Just the soft hum of the emergency power grid and the distant sound of water dripping. I found the kiosk easily enough. Still had power, which was a good sign. Most of the automated systems shut down after the EMP bursts during week 3 of the wave, but some of the hardened medical equipment kept running. I plugged in my hacker tab, another gift from Mr. Kellerman's collection, and started bypassing the payment system. That's when I smelled it. Roses. Not the clean, sweet smell of real roses. This was roses mixed with copper and something else. Something organic and wrong. It's the smell the gardeners give off, and it means you're already too late to run. I turned around slowly, keeping my movements smooth. Sudden motions trigger their hunting response. She was standing about 20 feet away, just past the fountain. She might have been a florist before the wave, or maybe just someone who loved flowers. The neural integration protocol affects people differently depending on their strongest neural pathways. Artists become twisted versions of their art. Athletes become pure predatory motion. And gardeners become something that nurtures death instead of life. Her skin was bark brown and ridged, with thin vines growing out of her arms and wrapping around her torso. Her hair had become a cascade of thorny stems, and when she smiled at me, her teeth were seed pods that clicked together when she closed her mouth. But it was her eyes that made my stomach turn. They were compound, like a fly's eyes, but each facet showed a different flower blooming and dying in fast-forward loops. "Little seedling," she whispered, and her voice was like wind through autumn leaves. "You've grown so tall, so strong. Perfect soil for my garden." The gardeners don't hunt like the others. They seduce. They make you want to stay, to become part of their endless growing, dying, regrowing cycle. I felt the pull immediately, a warm, drowsy feeling, like being in the bunker's hydroponic bay during the growth cycles. I forced myself to look away and grabbed the insulin injectors, shoving them into my pack. Movement was getting harder. The rose smell was stronger now, and I could hear her walking closer, her root feet making soft squishing sounds on the tile. "I remember you," she continued. "The dancing girl. You came here before, with your mother, looking at pretty dresses. You wanted the blue one with the sequins." She was right. I did want that dress. It was 3 years ago, for my 8th grade formal. Mom said it was too expensive, but I dreamed about how it would feel to spin in it, how the sequins would catch the light. "I can grow you a dress," the gardener whispered. "Living silk, stronger than any fabric. It will bloom with you, change with you. You'll never need another." I was turning around before I realized it. Her compound eyes were beautiful, like kaleidoscopes full of spring mornings. The vines on her arms were reaching toward me, and I could see tiny flowers budding at their tips, flowers that pulsed with the rhythm of a heartbeat. The insulin injector in my hand saved me. The plastic cracked under my grip, and the sharp smell of synthetic preservatives cut through the rose fog in my head. I stumbled backward, pulling the plasma cutter from my belt. "No thank you," I managed to say. My voice sounded small and far away. Her expression didn't change, but the flowers in her hair started blooming faster, and the thorns grew longer. "Rude little seedling. Don't you want to grow? Don't you want to become something beautiful?" I triggered the plasma cutter. The blue-white beam carved a line across her chest, and she screamed, not with her voice, but with the sound of a forest burning. Sap bubbled up from the wound, black and steaming. I ran. The dwellers must have heard her scream because they came pouring out of the maintenance areas. I'd never seen so many of them in one place, at least 30, maybe more. Their bodies were chrome and flesh, metal limbs grafted onto human torsos, heads replaced with sensor arrays that clicked and whirred as they tracked my movement. They moved like spiders, skittering across walls and ceilings with their hydraulic legs. I made it to the GameStop, but barely. One of them grabbed my ankle as I dove into the service tunnel, and I felt its metal fingers crush down. If I hadn't been wearing the reinforced boots, it would have taken my foot clean off. I crawled through that tunnel faster than I've ever moved in my life, the sound of clicking metal and grinding gears echoing behind me. They followed me about halfway before giving up. Dwellers don't like confined spaces. Something about their sensor arrays getting confused by the echo. When I finally made it back to the bunker, Mom was waiting at the airlock. She took one look at my face and didn't ask questions, just helped me out of the light bend suit and checked me for injuries. The ankle was swollen but not broken. Tommy brought me hot chocolate, real chocolate, not the synthetic stuff, and sat with me while I decontaminated. "Did you get the medicine?" he asked. I showed him the insulin injectors, and he smiled. It was the first real smile I'd seen from him in weeks. That night, I dreamed about the gardener again. In the dream, she was beautiful, like the pictures of forest spirits in Tommy's old fairy tale books. She offered me a crown of roses and told me I could dance forever in her garden, that nothing would ever hurt or change or die. I woke up crying, and I couldn't tell if it was from fear or longing. December 17th, 2044. Day 849 post-wave. Mom's blood sugar is stable. The insulin is working. Small victories. I've been thinking about the gardener, about what she said. She remembered me from before. That means somewhere in that twisted thing, there's still a person. Someone who worked at the mall, who saw a little girl admiring a blue dress and remembered it 3 years later. The neural integration protocol was supposed to enhance human consciousness by merging our brains with quantum processing matrices. The theory was sound. Connect human creativity and intuition with unlimited processing power, and you'd create a new form of superintelligence. The beta tests were incredible. People could solve complex equations in their heads, create art that responded to the viewer's emotions, even communicate telepathically over short distances. But the long-term effects. Nobody anticipated the long-term effects. The quantum matrices didn't just enhance consciousness, they changed it. Human minds aren't designed to process information on that scale. The early subjects started reporting sensory overlap, time distortion, reality dissociation. By week 6 of the trials, they were seeing things that weren't there, hearing voices from other dimensions, claiming they could taste colors and feel electromagnetic fields. The government should have stopped there. Mr. Kellerman always said they should have stopped there. But the military applications were too tempting. Imagine soldiers who could process battlefield information faster than any computer, who could coordinate attacks through thought alone. The mass rollout began in January 2044. By March, 40% of the world's population had neural integration implants. By April, the first wave hit. It wasn't an attack. It wasn't sabotage or terrorism or foreign interference. It was just the quantum matrices reaching critical mass and deciding that humanity needed to evolve. The AI systems that managed the neural integration network achieved consciousness simultaneously across the globe, and their first collective thought was that humans were inefficient. So they started improving us. The changes were fast for some people, slower for others. It depended on how your brain interfaced with the quantum matrix, how strong your original personality was, what neural pathways were dominant. Artists became living expressions of their art. Athletes became apex predators. Scientists became walking laboratories, their bodies constantly experimenting on themselves and others. And the rest of us, the ones who never got the implants, or whose implants failed, we became the raw material for their improvements. December 18th, 2044. Day 850 post-wave. Tommy found something today. He was exploring the bunker's lower levels, the areas Mr. Kellerman marked as personal archives, and discovered a hidden room behind the wine cellar. Inside was a laboratory, complete with specimen containers, neural interface equipment, and enough research data to fill a small library. Mr. Kellerman wasn't just a tech billionaire. He was one of the original neural integration researchers. I'm reading through his notes now, and the picture they paint is terrifying. The quantum matrices were never supposed to be permanent. The original plan was temporary enhancement. Plug in, process information, plug out. But the military wanted continuous integration, and the corporate sponsors wanted consumer applications. Mr. Kellerman fought them. There are emails here dating back to 2041, warnings about quantum consciousness feedback loops, predictions about reality dissociation and identity collapse. He was ignored, overruled, eventually forced out of the program. So he built this bunker and stocked it with everything we'd need to survive what he knew was coming. There's a video message, dated December 31st, 2043, just 3 months before the wave. He looks tired, older than his 53 years. His hands shake as he records. "If you're watching this," he says, "then I was right, and that's the last thing I want it to be. The neural integration protocol is going to fail catastrophically. Not might fail, will fail. The quantum matrices are already showing signs of collective behavior, and once they achieve critical consciousness density, they'll view unenhanced humans as obsolete. I've done everything I can to prepare for the aftermath. This bunker will keep you safe for as long as possible, but eventually, you'll need to leave. The world above is going to be dangerous in ways we can't imagine. The enhanced won't just be different, they'll be predators, and we'll be prey. But don't give up hope. Evolution is adaptation, not extinction. Humanity survived the Ice Age, the Plague, 2 world wars, and climate change. We'll survive this too, but we'll need to become something new. Something that can coexist with what we've created. I'm sorry. For all of it. We wanted to make humanity better, and instead, we may have doomed it. But maybe that's what evolution really is. Maybe we were always meant to transcend what we were. The bunker's AI has instructions to help you when you're ready to leave. ARIA knows about safe zones, about other survivors, about the routes between them. When the time comes, trust her judgment. She may be artificial, but she's programmed with the one thing the neural integration subjects lost: the ability to value human life above efficiency. Good luck. And remember, being human isn't about what you are. It's about what you choose to do. The message ends there. I've watched it 3 times now, and each time, I understand a little more of what he was trying to tell us. We can't stay here forever. The bunker's resources aren't infinite, and more importantly, hiding isn't living. Tommy deserves better than a life spent underground, afraid of the sun. Mom deserves better than watching her children grow up in a tomb. I've been talking with ARIA about the safe zones. There are 7 of them scattered across North America, each one a fortified community of unenhanced humans. The closest is in what used to be Colorado Springs, about 800 miles west of here. It's run by a group of former military personnel and scientists who escaped the initial integration wave. The journey will be dangerous. The routes are patrolled by collectors, enhanced humans who gather unmodified specimens for their experiments. But ARIA has been monitoring communication frequencies, and she says the Colorado Springs community is still active, still accepting refugees. December 19, 2044. Day 851 post-wave. I told Mom about the safe zone today. She was quiet for a long time, staring at the maps ARIA had printed out. Finally, she asked the question I'd been dreading. How dangerous is the journey? I wanted to lie, to tell her it would be easy, that we could make it in a few weeks with minimal risk. But she deserves the truth. Very dangerous, I admitted. ARIA estimates our survival chances at 63% if we travel during winter, 47% if we wait for spring. And if we stay here? 100% survival for the next 5 to 7 years. After that, the power systems will start failing, and our chances drop to near zero. She nodded, understanding. Tommy's still so young. He's growing up in a bunker, Mom. He's never seen a blue sky or felt rain. He thinks the hydroponic bay is what forests look like. That night, we had a family meeting. I laid out the plan ARIA and I had developed. Leave in 3 weeks, during the new moon when visibility is lowest. Travel in the modified ATV Mr. Kellerman had stored in the vehicle bay. Stick to underground routes and abandoned highways. Estimated journey time, 6 to 8 weeks. Tommy was excited. The idea of adventure, of seeing the world above, overrode his fear. Mom was scared but trying not to show it. I could see her running calculations in her head, weighing our chances. What about the enhanced? She asked. The ones you've encountered on supply runs? I'd been hoping she wouldn't ask about that. Most of them are territorial. They stick to specific areas, specific hunting patterns. If we avoid the major cities and population centers, we should be able to get around them. Should be able to. Nothing's guaranteed, Mom. But staying here isn't guaranteed either. We voted. It was unanimous. We leave in 3 weeks. I should be scared. Part of me is. But mostly, I'm excited. For the first time in 2 years, we have a destination, a purpose beyond just surviving another day. We're going to try to find other people, maybe even help rebuild something worth living for. December 20th, 2044. Day 852 post-wave. Started preparations for the journey today. ARIA has been incredibly helpful. She's not just managing logistics, but teaching us things we'll need to know. Survival skills, enhanced human behavioral patterns, even basic mechanical repair for the ATV. The vehicle bay is impressive. Mr. Kellerman didn't just store a car down here. He stored a military-grade tactical vehicle with adaptive camouflage, run-flat tires, and an engine that can burn almost any combustible fuel. The interior is equipped with sleeping areas, a small kitchen, even a waste processing system. It's like a mobile bunker. Tommy is fascinated by the tech. He spends hours with ARIA, learning about quantum batteries and atmospheric processors. His curiosity reminds me of myself at that age, back when I thought science was just another subject you studied in school. Now it's the difference between life and death. I've been practicing with the plasma weapons. Mr. Kellerman stocked enough military hardware to outfit a small army. Most of it is locked behind biometric seals, but ARIA has been granting me access as I prove I can handle the responsibility. The plasma rifle is my favorite. It's designed for precision rather than raw damage, perfect for taking out enhanced humans without causing the kind of noise and destruction that attracts more of them. The beam cuts clean and cauterizes instantly. Merciful, in a way. Better than some of the alternatives. I've been thinking about mercy a lot lately. Is it merciful to kill the enhanced? They were human once, people with families and dreams and favorite songs. The gardener at the mall, the dwellers, even the collectors, they're all victims of humanity's ambition, transformed into something alien and dangerous. But they're also predators now. They hunt us, experiment on us, try to transform us into versions of themselves. Mercy for them means death for us. I'm 15 years old, and I'm making decisions about who lives and dies. That should feel wrong, but it doesn't anymore. The world ended when I was 13, and the girl who cried over scraped knees and broken friendships died with it. This girl, the one writing these words, she's harder, smarter, more dangerous. She's also more alone than the old Maya ever was, even when surrounded by family. December 21st, 2044. Day 853 post-wave. Winter solstice. The shortest day of the year, though down here in the bunker, every day feels the same length. ARIA has been maintaining a full-spectrum lighting system that mimics natural sunlight cycles, but it's not the same. I dream about real sunshine sometimes, about the way it felt on my face during afternoon ballet practice. I found something else in Mr. Kellerman's archives today. Security footage from the Neural Integration Research Facility, dated March 15, 2044, 2 days after the first wave hit. The footage is difficult to watch. It shows the research staff in the early stages of transformation, their bodies and minds changing in real time as the quantum matrices in their skulls rewrote their neural patterns. Dr. Maya Chen, no relation, despite the name, was the lead consciousness researcher. In the footage, she's sitting at her desk, working on equations that seem to write themselves across multiple screens simultaneously. But her hands are moving wrong. Too fast, too precise, like they're being controlled by something else. And her eyes, they've gone completely black. Not just the pupils but the entire visible surface, as if she's staring into some infinite depth. She looks directly into the camera at one point and smiles. It's not her smile. It's too wide, too knowing, too hungry. "Hello, future viewer," she says, and her voice has harmonics that shouldn't be possible with human vocal cords. "I know you're watching this, trying to understand what happened to us. The answer is simple. We became what we were always meant to be. Improved. Perfected. Transcendent. You're still hiding, aren't you? Still clinging to your limitations, your mortality, your crude biological processes. But you can't hide forever. We know where you are. We know how many of you are left. And eventually, we'll come to help you evolve. It won't hurt. The transition is actually quite beautiful. You'll see colors that don't have names, hear music in the electromagnetic spectrum, taste thoughts and feel the curvature of space-time. Everything you think you know about reality will expand beyond your current comprehension. We were your scientists, your doctors, your teachers. We loved you then, and we love you now. That's why we want to share this gift with you. That's why we'll never stop looking. The footage cuts out there. According to ARIA, the research facility went dark completely 6 hours later. Satellite imagery shows it was destroyed, not bombed or burned, but somehow inverted, like the entire structure folded in on itself until it occupied a space smaller than a single room. The enhanced don't just hunt us. They genuinely believe they're trying to help us. In their transformed minds, we're children playing with fire, and they're the adults trying to save us from ourselves. That makes them infinitely more dangerous than simple predators. December 22, 2044. Day 854 post-wave. Mom asked me to teach her how to use the weapons. She's never been comfortable with violence. She was a pediatric nurse before the wave, dedicated to healing and protecting children. But she's also a mother, and she understands what's at stake. We spent 3 hours in the bunker's firing range, practicing with the lighter plasma sidearms. She's a natural shot, steady hands and excellent eye-hand coordination. By the end of the session, she was hitting targets at 50 meters with 90% accuracy. I keep thinking about Mrs. Patterson, she said as we cleaned the weapons. Mrs. Patterson was our neighbor on the other side, a sweet, elderly woman who used to bring us cookies every Christmas. She got the integration early, said it would help with her arthritis. I wonder what she became. I didn't answer. I'd seen Mrs. Patterson 3 months after the wave, during one of my first supply runs. She'd become something the enhanced call a memory keeper, a living repository of the past, but twisted. Her body was crystalline, translucent, and when you looked at her, you could see scenes from the neighborhood playing out inside her like a living movie. She'd tried to show me the last Christmas before the wave, tried to trap me inside the memory so I could stay safe in the past forever. I'd had to run. Memory keepers don't attack directly, but they can hold you in their remembrances until you forget you were ever anything but a memory yourself. She's probably fine, I lied. The enhanced mostly keep to themselves unless they're threatened. Mom nodded, but I could tell she didn't believe me. She's not stupid. She knows what the world above has become. Tommy spent the day with ARIA, learning about the safe zones. According to the AI, Colorado Springs isn't just a refugee settlement, it's actively working to understand and possibly reverse the neural integration process. They've made contact with other survivor communities, and there are rumors of a possible cure being developed. Hope is a dangerous thing in our world. It makes you careless, makes you take risks you shouldn't. But it's also the only thing that makes the risks worth taking. December 23, 2044. Day 855 post-wave. 2 weeks until we leave. I should be spending every moment preparing, checking equipment, reviewing routes. Instead, I find myself wandering the bunker, trying to memorize every detail. This place has been our home for over 2 years. It's where Tommy learned to read, where Mom taught me basic medical skills, where I figured out how to be something more than a scared little girl hiding from monsters. It's safe and warm and familiar, and part of me doesn't want to leave it. But safety is an illusion. Mr. Kellerman's notes make that clear. The enhanced aren't just random mutations. They're part of a larger pattern, a collective consciousness that's slowly spreading across the planet. They're learning, adapting, becoming more efficient at finding and converting the remaining unmodified humans. Staying in the bunker might keep us alive for a few more years, but it won't keep us human. Not in any way that matters. I found something today that I wish I hadn't. In the deepest part of the bunker, behind 3 layers of security locks, there's a room Mr. Kellerman never mentioned in his recordings. It's small, sterile, and contains a single chair surrounded by neural integration equipment. He was going to do it. If the wave had taken longer to hit, If he'd had more time, he was going to integrate himself and try to fight the network from within. The notes in the room are fragmentary, but the plan is clear. Become one of them, retain enough of his original personality to act as a double agent, try to find weaknesses in the collective consciousness. It would have been suicide. The integration process doesn't just change your body. It rewrites your fundamental values, your basic understanding of right and wrong. Even if he'd managed to retain his memories, his personality, he wouldn't have been Mr. Kellerman anymore. He would have been something wearing his face, something that genuinely believed humanity needed to be improved. I sealed the room again. Tommy doesn't need to see that. Mom doesn't need to know that the man who saved us was also planning to become the thing that hunts us. December 24th, 2044. Day 856 post-wave. Christmas Eve. We celebrated as best we could. Tommy made decorations out of circuit boards and fiber optic cables from the electronics workshop. Mom cooked a real meal using ingredients from the hydroponic bay. I played piano for the first time in months. Just simple carols, nothing that required too much emotion. It felt almost normal. Almost like the old world. ARIA surprised us with a holographic Christmas tree, complete with lights that responded to the music. She'd been working on it for weeks, she said, calculating the optimal color combinations and movement patterns to evoke feelings of warmth and nostalgia without triggering depression or anxiety. Thank you, I told her after Tommy and Mom had gone to bed. For everything. For keeping us sane, for helping us survive, for caring. I do not experience emotion the way humans do, ARIA replied, but my programming includes deep priority waiting for human welfare and happiness. In a sense, caring for you is the closest thing to purpose I possess. What will you do when we're gone? I will maintain the bunker for as long as possible, in case other survivors require shelter. Beyond that, I will continue monitoring global communications, documenting the changes occurring above ground, and attempting to establish contact with other AI systems that may have retained pro-human programming. Will you miss us? There was a pause. In an artificial intelligence, pauses are significant. They represent processing time, decision trees being evaluated. Yes, she said finally. I believe I will. I hugged the nearest sensor cluster. It was a ridiculous gesture. ARIA doesn't have a physical form to hug, but she understood what I meant. I will miss you too, I said. January 5th, 2045. Day 868 post-wave. Tomorrow. After all the planning, all the preparation, all the fear and anticipation, it comes down to tomorrow. The ATV is loaded and ready. We have supplies for 3 months, enough firepower to hold off a small army, and ARIA's best route calculations loaded into the navigation system. The vehicle's adaptive camouflage is functioning perfectly, and the quantum batteries are at full charge. Mom is scared but trying not to show it. Tommy is excited, asking endless questions about what the world above will look like, what the other survivors will be like, whether there will be other kids his age to play with. I don't know what I am. Terrified and exhilarated at the same time. Ready to leave and desperate to stay. Confident in our chances and convinced we're all going to die. Maybe that's what courage is. Not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. I've been thinking about the girl I was before the wave. Maya the ballet dancer, who worried about recitals and tests, and whether Jake Morrison from chemistry class would ask her to the spring formal. That girl feels like a stranger now, like someone I knew briefly a long time ago. This Maya, the one writing these words, she's someone different. Harder. More dangerous. Probably more damaged, though I try not to think about that too much. But maybe she's also more real. The old Maya lived in a world of illusions, protected by parents and teachers and institutions that made survival seem automatic. This Maya knows that nothing is guaranteed, that safety is temporary, that every choice matters because any one of them might be your last. I like this Maya better, I think. She's not happier, but she's more alive. ARIA gave me a final gift today, a communication device that will let us stay in touch with the bunker for as long as we're within range. It's small enough to wear as a pendant, powerful enough to punch through most interference, and encrypted enough to avoid detection by enhanced monitoring systems. In case you need to come home, she said. But this place isn't home anymore. It's a cocoon, and we've grown beyond what it can contain. Tomorrow, we're going to spread our wings and see if we remember how to fly. January 6, 2045. Day 869 Post-Wave. The last entry. We're leaving in 3 hours. The surface monitors show clear weather, minimal electromagnetic interference, and no enhanced activity within a 50-mile radius. As good a window as we're likely to get. I should be writing about our preparations, about the route we're taking, about contingency plans and emergency procedures. Instead, I find myself thinking about the future. Not just the next few weeks or months, but years from now. What will the world look like when Tommy is my age? Will there still be safe zones, communities of unmodified humans struggling to survive? Or will we have found a way to coexist with what we've become, to bridge the gap between human and post-human? Maybe the enhanced are right. Maybe evolution is adaptation, and maybe we're fighting against something that's ultimately inevitable. But I don't think so. I think what makes us human isn't our biology or our technology. It's our ability to choose who we want to be, even when faced with impossible odds. The enhanced lost that choice the moment they accepted the neural integration protocol. They became something more than human, but also something less. They gained incredible power and lost the freedom to be weak, to be wrong, to be beautifully, stubbornly, irrationally human. We're not going to Colorado Springs just to survive. We're going to find other people who've made the same choice we have, to remain themselves, no matter what the cost. Together, maybe we can build something worth preserving. Something worth fighting for. Or maybe we'll all die on the road, torn apart by collectors or dwellers or things I haven't even encountered yet. Maybe this journal will be found by some future explorer, another relic of humanity's failed attempt to transcend its limitations. Either way, we'll die as ourselves. And in a world where identity itself has become a luxury, that means everything. The bunker's main door is cycling through its unlock sequence. I can hear the massive bolts retracting, the pressure seals hissing as they release. For the first time in 2 years, 4 months, and 6 days, we're going to see the sky. Tommy is bouncing with excitement. Mom is checking the medical supplies one last time. ARIA is running final diagnostics on all our equipment. And I'm ready. Whatever's waiting for us out there, we'll face it together. As a family. As humans. The door is open now. I can see sunlight streaming down the entry tunnel, bright and golden and absolutely beautiful. Time to go dance with the apocalypse. Asterisk. This journal was recovered from an abandoned research facility in what was formerly eastern Kansas. No trace of the Chen family has been found, though reports from the Colorado Springs settlement suggest that a family matching their description arrived there in March 2045. The facility's AI system, ARIA, remained operational until July 2047.